You are exactly one decision away from a completely different life. But you have to stop making excuses to get there. Welcome to the No Excuses Network. Hit subscribe right now if you are ready to stop talking and start executing. Let's get into it.
Purpose is established before work. We don't go to work to find our purpose, but we go to work to express our purpose, to express our magic and our genius. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, more interesting is that the word genius is a grammatic construct of 3 words. Genie in us. Genie means the guiding spirit, your guiding light. So when we say you are a genius, it means you have found that guiding spirit and that guiding light inside of you. So work is a platform to manifest and to express your magic. Let me put it this way. Anointing precedes appointment. In other words, you are anointed before you are appointed. That is why I'm convinced that you are anointed for something bigger than what you are appointed to do right now. The anointing in your life is far much greater than what you could be doing right now. It's such a great honor and a great privilege today that I'm hosting the maestro himself. We've been taking him for some time. He's been on a world tour, but finally he's back home and he has given us some minutes. He's an author, a multi-award, internationally acclaimed keynote speaker, and a businessman. Selekane, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sir Max. Thanks. It's an honor and a privilege to be hosted by you. I know I was not doing cat and mouse. It's just I've been busy.
Good thing about you is that every time I inquire, you send me the location. So you sent me proof. But how have you been?
I've been blessed, quite honestly. I've been, life has, I've gone through some very tough emotional stuff from 2018, and sort of everything got done by 2022. And then from 2023, I was sort of going through a process of rebuilding, both in, personal stuff and also business, because when you go through personal stuff, it affects your business. But I must tell you that in all this time, God's grace has been abound. And yes, even though sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but I've always had good backup around me. So yeah, and things are blowing up. Things are looking absolutely amazing. Like I've been traveling quite extensively. So yeah, so these are exciting times, and I'm really, really blessed.
No, I'm so happy. Tell us about your global tour. You just came back now.
Yes, I'm actually leaving again on Sunday, and then my last official trip ends on the 12th of December. It will be DRC. So basically, Max, I've launched a new business, as you know, Global Speakers Academy. So I'm running a couple of businesses, but the ones that I'm focusing on, it's my corporate business, which is Selekane International, the consultancy, and then Global Speakers Academy. So we've had a lot of work in the consulting part, because, as you know, I've recently gotten my PhD, and based on that, and I've written and designed a model, and we've been, beta testing it with a lot of different organizations, and I've been speaking quite a lot around the world, and people have accepted, the reception is very positive and very warm. And then on the other hand, of course, a lot of Global Speakers Academy work. We've been coaching people. We've been running, courses. As you know, Hector is one of the facilitators as part of that process. So yeah, it's been quite busy, but very exciting. Very, very exciting time.
You haven't said much about your PhD.
I'm not, I always laugh at myself and say, I'm always caught between a rock and a hard place. Again, the difference between humility and arrogance, there's a very thin line between those two. And I've always been cognizant of the fact that I'm not one of those guys who's good at exalting himself, because the Bible says if you exalt yourself, God will humble you. If you humble you, God will exalt you. So yes, there will be noise around it, but guided noise and positive noise, not noise for the sake of noise. See what I'm trying to say? So yes, 100%. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, of course, you must do that.
Yeah, Roman, it's such a great honor to be talking to. Personally, you're one of the people who have inspired me to do the work that I do, and you continue to inspire me.
Thank you.
To do the work that you are doing. You are one of those, what I could call the golden generation of the consultants, but particularly the speakers,
yeah.
In South Africa.
Yeah.
And you took it to the next level. Your global footprint is just so amazing. One of my favorite topics, I've had these topics all the time. In fact, all the time I met you, I've asked you to speak about this, whether in person or on radio, always asked you to speak about this, but because of how you beautifully capture and first you've helped me
Yeah.
to understand the energy of money.
Yeah.
And that is why I've asked you today to talk about the energetic
Frequency of money.
All of us, we want money.
Absolutely.
Only few people will say they don't want money. I don't know how. Let me allow you to
Yeah.
to go with it.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say that money is money favors nobody. So if you take, actually, I've got $1 here. If I took $100 and dropped it on the floor here, it will just be a piece of paper on a table.
Yeah.
It will have no effect. But if I take that and give it to you, you give it effect. And you give it effect based on the energy that you have and the frequency that you have around the money. And the frequency and energy is based on one very simple thing, your belief system around that. When you get this money, how do you resonate and how do you vibrate within that money? Do you see it as a tool that can do things, or do you see it as an end in itself? And unfortunately, a lot of people see it as an end to itself. But money is a tool. And money is unemotional. Money does not carry a surname, does not carry a race, does not carry a tribe, does not carry a religious connotation. Money, it's money in itself. We give it meaning based on who we are and the energy that we carry. And here's the thing. I always say that when you are... There's a statement that I say actually, which is like really, really deep. I say, I've met a lot of people who are so poor, all they have is money. And you just said that everybody wants money, and I think that's where the challenge is.
Yeah.
When you're chasing money, you're not going to get it, because that's not how money operates. Money respects value. When you deliver value, money reciprocates that value, showing up so that you can use this as a tool to fulfill the desires of your heart, which are mostly material. But the material connotation or manifestation of money has to be grounded in your spirituality. So, and I've always said that the people who make the most amount of money never said, I want to make the most amount of money. They saw a challenge in society and they solved that challenge, and reciprocally the value became money. And that's why most of them, if you look at the wealthiest guy, Warren Buffett, you name them, you never see them wearing a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton or all these labels that people carry. It's because they are not defined by things, because they're in a place of great frequency and vibration. So they're not chasing the attractive. And when you chase, you're going to chase for a long time, because that's not how it works. So I've always said that, one of the most powerful books in the Bible, it's the book, it's the story of Solomon, King Solomon, And I've always said that had you been asked the same question by God that he asked King Solomon, what would have been your answer? And I can guarantee you 99% of the time, people say, give me the money, give me the money.
True.
But Solomon didn't say, give me the money. He said, give me wisdom so that I can be able to judge good and bad, and I can do good to your people and please you. Please God and do good to your people. And he said, because you've asked for the most noble, I'm going to give you wealth, unimaginable wealth. Now here's what happens with King Solomon.
Yeah.
And this is going to surprise you. Because he becomes such a powerful leader and king that other kings want to learn from him on how to rule. Now, Max, what you're doing now, you are building a brand, you're building wisdom, you're building knowledge, and you're building a content pool that other people who want to do this are going to look to you for advice on how to do this, because you're already doing it. And when they come and ask for advice from you, the value that they attach to you is usually higher than the value that you attach to yourself. So they will come to you and say, hey, Sam X, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. How much would it cost for you to coach me? And most of the time, because most people don't vibrate in that process, they think, oh my God, how much do I charge? And the fascinating thing about it is, if you go to the Bible again in the book of Kings and you follow the story of King Solomon, and he's written how many Psalms? 3,000, and how many songs? 1,500 songs. So he used to create content, like what we do, creating content. There was no TikTok, no Facebook in that. But they say kings around the world knew his wisdom. And remember, in those times there were amphitheaters.
Yes.
So King Solomon would teach in an amphitheater. I'm just telling you this as a story. And the acoustics were so powerful that we could have 10,000 people without sound system that we need now. And everybody would be able to listen and understand the content that he was teaching. And reciprocally, they would give him gifts. And the Bible says people brought horses, mules, and all kind of things. But there's one particular person that really sets the tone for all of this. When King Solomon was ruling Israel, there was a very powerful African queen, the Queen of Sheba, who ruled Africa up to Southeast Asia, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. So the Queen of Sheba heard about this guy, this King Solomon. And by the way, King Solomon also heard about the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah.
But between the two of them, the one that had the throne, the seat of throne was King Solomon.
Yes.
So you go to the king doesn't come to you.
Famous, yeah.
Yeah. So the Queen of Sheba went to go and meet King Solomon, you know, and he went there to seek advice on how to become a great leader, and eventually they became, you know, and then, you know,
Yeah.
they became.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the Bible and understand how much the Queen of Sheba paid King Solomon for his advice, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
They said she paid 120 talents of gold and perfumes and all kind of things, you know. So if you take those 100 talents of gold and you multiply them in today's currency, the Queen of Sheba paid King Solomon between $300 and $350 million for her to get advice on how to become a great leader.
And it also says she brought spices.
I'm not talking about those spices.
Yeah.
She brought
Yeah.
spices. She brought amazing material. She brought all kind of things. But I'm just because people can relate to gold,
Yes,
because gold
yes.
represents money.
I
You know.
get that, yeah.
So just think about it. She paid him between $300 and $350 million for advice. King Solomon didn't go search for money. He wanted wisdom to rule and to judge wrong and right. And I think when we, like you said, when you opened, when we find our gifts, when we find what I call our celestial appointment, what are we appointed to come and do on planet Earth? When we find that appointment and we wake up every morning and we say, I'm going to do the best that I can to please God and to serve His people. And in that, my vibration for money is not I'm chasing money. It's I understand what money is a tool. That if I get it, I'm going to do A, B, C, D with this money. You know, then magic begins to happen. Then you don't chase money anymore, you attract it. You know, because when you're chasing something, the first thing that you get, you think is the thing that you want.
Yes, true.
Because I mean, you are anxious and you're running, and money does not operate. That energy of money does not operate very well in a place of anxiousness. Because my statement that says I know some people who are so poor all they have is money, is because they've been chasing money literally for the sense of chasing money, and then they have money and then they buy things.
Yes.
They buy cars, they buy this, and ultimately they sit down on a Sunday afternoon. They still feel this sense of emptiness. That I'm sitting in a 50 million house.
Yes.
I've got a Bentley, Rolls Royce, I've got a yacht, I've got a helicopter, I've got a jet. And there's this sense of emptiness. That sense of emptiness is because you have not done what you were sent to do. So that money that you have is just a heap. That means absolutely nothing because you have not done what you're supposed to do. Conversely, you'll find somebody who's a teacher, mathematics teacher,
Yeah.
who's doing it because that's their calling. That's what they'll come to do. They live in a modest house, they drive a modest car, and they're very happy. They're not actually happy, they're very fulfilled because there is no need for them to prove anything to anybody. So their vibration with money, and those people, I call them exponential people. When they have 100 rand, it operates like 1,000 rands. When they have 1,000 rands, it operates like 10,000 rands. When they have 10,000 rands, it operates like 100,000 rands because of their frequency and the understanding of the energy of money based on their gift and how they're contributing to society.
Yeah. Wow, what a beautiful prelude to this conversation. You are a great storyteller. I admire that about you.
Thank you.
Are you saying people should not want money, should not pursue money as the end,
Yes.
the approach?
If you pursue money at the end, I can promise you now, you're going to be frustrated. You know, drug dealers pursue money. And they kill people and they, thieves, fraudsters, whatever. They do those things for money,
Yeah.
nothing else. So if you're going to wake up in the morning and say, I'm chasing money, you're going to waste your life, I can guarantee you. Because you're going to end up with these things. Because ultimately it's not about things that want impact. I think when we die and we meet our maker, whatever or whoever you call your maker,
Yes.
I don't think they're going to ask you how many watches did you have, how big your car was, whatever. They want to ask you one simple question. Did you do that which I created you to do? Because I created you in the continent of Africa for a specific reason. was there was a challenge in the continent, and only you had the capacity, the knowledge, and the wisdom to solve that challenge. Have you solved it? If you haven't,
And when you do, you shall be divinely compensated.
exactly. Yeah. When that compensation, what does the Bible say? It says, God brings wealth, and with it brings no trouble. So when you're working within your purpose, pleasing God and serving His people, when wealth shows up, it doesn't go to your head. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it is a reward that comes from a space of love, because of the vibration and the frequency of the understanding of this thing as a tool.
Yeah.
And by the way, I say to people say, oh, so and so has money, now they've changed. Money doesn't change people. Money reveals people. Money reveals your true character.
Reveals who you
Exactly. If you are a very generous person and you get a lot of money, you become more generous. If you are a stingy person, you get more money, you become stingy. Yeah. Money doesn't change, it just reveals the essence of your character.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
There's a famous statement now in the pop culture circles where people are saying money can't make you happy. You know, money don't buy happiness. You know, some people say, no, I'd rather cry in a Rolls Royce than, you know, in a Tez or in a. What are your view on those sentiments of money and happiness?
Happiness is an inside job, not an outside job. Money is an outside thing, but driven by the internal frequency and spirituality that you're running yourself from. So things can't make you happy. You understand what I'm trying to say?
100%.
So things can't make you happy. You can buy a Rolls Royce tomorrow. You know, I usually say that everything has a name until you have it.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Rolls Royce, whatever. Once you have it, oh, you wash it yourself as a Rolls Royce. I can tell you 90 days from now, from that time, it's just a car. It's no longer as important. It's important when you first get it because you've got this thing. But ultimately, it's just a car. So it's true. Money will not make you happy. Money, like I'm saying, it's a thing that you put, and it depends on the frequency of your life and the spirituality and how you connect with it. It responds to you. Luganga, you can take $1 and fold it like this and throw it down, and take it and unfold it, still it. You know what I'm trying to say? So if you think that if I have money, and here's the thing, a lot of people have lived their lives based on, if I have, I'm gonna be. I'm saying you're not gonna have, you're not gonna be. You must be to have.
I like that, yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
People says, you know, like somebody says, oh, I'm going to win a lot of it. He does the ABC and he says, no, you're not going to do that because you're not doing it anyway. What's going to change? What's going to suddenly change you? Because that's not who you are. That's not your character.
It's just going to help you to continue the trajectory.
Exactly, that you already started.
Yes.
So it reveals your character. It's never going to change. So money can't make you happy. And next, I promise you, like I said, the guy who's a multi-billionaire, the guy who's living his purpose, I can promise you, the one who's living his purpose, he might be living in a modest house, I can guarantee you his sense of fulfillment and happiness is much more higher. I'm not saying that you're going to be miserable when you're a billionaire.
Yes, I
get
get
a billionaire based on your purpose, you're going to become happy.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett eats McDonald's every other morning. He's a billionaire, this guy. Many times over. He's a simple man. That's what he likes. He stays in exactly the same house that he stays. He still has the car that he bought initially. This guy is a multi-gazillionaire. So his happiness is not determined by the state of his physical wealth.
Yeah.
It is based on the state of his emotional and spiritual wealth.
In fact, I was reading the story of Steve Jobs as well. People say, but Steve, you are one of the richest guys in the world. This house, I mean, you've been in this house this house does not reflect the riches that you have. And I guess it goes back with what you are saying.
Yeah. And by the way, Steve Jobs was busy changing the world.
Yeah.
We're now using Apple because that's what his focus. His focus was to come and revolutionize technology.
Yeah.
He did, because house is a house. It's a door, a shower, and a bed. Actually, I was laughing because I was having a conversation with this group of people, and I was saying, it's amazing that you go to school, you get a degree, you want to get a job that's going to pay this amount of money, you want to buy this massive house or build it in an estate where you get in with a remote, with a cart and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? You leave that house very early in the morning, you come back very late in the evening. Who enjoys that house? The maid and the garden boy and the pool guy. So, bo auntie, they do high tea in your house. And this high tea, they take those expensive Chinese things that you have, which you hardly touch.
Yeah.
Bo auntie, they use them.
True.
Because they're having the time of their life. Oh my God, they're living. So, bo auntie, they just have their bread buttered so beautifully because they're living in this massive house. You are not there the whole day. They swim, they make sandwiches, you know.
The boyfriends come sometimes.
Bobbing comes, I'll do the Sophie's out to relay, just don't go eat, you know, this kind of thing. And when I come back at night, you are tired, all you need to do is to shower, eat and sleep, and wake up the next morning, do exactly the same thing. So most people, actually, a great majority of people are in the rat race. It is just the complexity of the race and the distance which you are running. So you wake up in the morning, it's like you've built this idol that you need to feed. So all you do, you're working to feed this house. You have to pay rates and taxes that you've got to do this, you've got to get a garden boy, you've got to get an aunt, whatever. But the truth is, when are you going to enjoy it? When do you ever enjoy it? Sunday, you sleep. You either go to church and then you sleep, you go to church, go for lunch somewhere. So you've got this beautiful house that you can enjoy. But all you do is to work for this house.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with my friend sometimes. He was also staying in these upmarket beautiful houses. And then we had a real conversation. Every weekend, this guy wants to go to Kasi. I'm also way too. Every weekend, literally. And I'm asking him, why every weekend you want to go to Kasi in Soweto? He says, that's where I connect with my people. And he said, you know what, these houses, the only way to enjoy it, we don't. The only way, you have to make a party. That's why they throw parties for people to come, because when people are not there, you don't enjoy them. Absolutely. When you are alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, it goes to a frequency and understanding of things. You know, I always say to people, you know, Apostle Paul says, I've learned to live with much and I've learned to live with less.
Yes.
And I've learned to be the same. I have mastered that thing. I've lived with so much, and I've lived with so less.
Yes.
But in both circumstances, you'll never know which part of the am I having more or am I having less?
Yeah.
Because it's got nothing to do with the expression to the people or the showing off to the people. It has everything to do with my internal frequency. Am I happy?
Yeah.
You know, am I in a beautiful space? And I can tell you, I'm in a beautiful space. I'm happy. I mean, I wake up every morning and I say to God, wow, you know, you're just amazing in taking me through stuff, and now it's just beautiful.